1 in 9 people that are born in the year 2026 in their lifetime will have cancer. Last year this number was 1 in 15. We've lost the empathy, or let's just say we've lost the care out of the healthcare. It's just health, and then it's how much money you have.
You are building EV buses of your own.
See, what makes a country big is its companies.
While building those EV batteries, a lot of carcinogens and pollution is produced.
As we say these days, AI is going to be the next big thing. AI should be answering these questions. EV will be amongst a lot of other technologies which will be there, but I don't think it's going to be the penultimate technology on the green mobility as such.
Hello and very warm welcome to the third episode of H&H Podcast. H&H is an agency based out of Indore, and we work at the intersection of digital marketing, design and IT services. In this podcast, we invite individuals who have done incredibly well in their careers or businesses. And today, I'm delighted to have with me Rohan Sharma, who is the owner of Bhagirath Motors and plays a pivotal role in the growth of Indore Cancer Foundation. Hello, Rohan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Hardik.
Rohan, so let's jump right into it. Can you tell a little bit about yourself? Like, you do the contribution with ICF, but you have been a major, person in the growth of Bhagirath Motors since 2008. So how that journey has been, whenever you meet a stranger or you go for a dinner, how do you like to introduce yourself?
Well, these days, I would like the conversation to start with ICF, because I feel that is the cause which has shown me the way for the next few years of my life. I started off my journey working with an OEM for some time. I finished my graduation and then I started working with the OEM for some time. After I finished my MBA, then I came back to my business, and I've seen it change over the years. We've gone from pure manufacturing to getting into dealerships also. We also manufacture a lot of auto components these days. And now that post-COVID is what pre-COVID and post-COVID is how I like to describe
Two
it.
different eras.
Yes, and I feel post-COVID for me has mostly been about giving back more and more, and that's how ICF happened.
So I believe it was around COVID when you wanted to do something for the society and you came across ICF.
Yes, so as you know, I am not aware of any household that must not have lost a loved one. And that made me feel that, life is really, really short. Today it's there, tomorrow something like this, a global event can happen and it can all get wiped off. How do you make sure that while you are here, you've done your contribution enough? And that made me think that whatever I was doing, even though I'm thankful to God for having me in a place where we were able to give employment to more than 2,000-3,000 people, it still made me feel that what I can contribute to the society is much more. And that's when ICF came, and I felt that I was doing a lot of recce around who I should work for. And ICF came, and I thought it was the right organization to be associated with.
So it's now close to 7 years. You have been working for ICF.
Yeah.
When you do some social work, there are certain soft skills that you learn that can be applied to business as well. So have you seen any change in your working business-wise?
So I've become a little more sensitive after having worked for ICF. In the last 5 years of my journey with ICF, I'm a little more sensitive to my own people, my stakeholders. It's made me a little more of a mellow person. I understand and listen to people a little bit more, because I understand that, having worked for ICF, you go there, you visit the patients that come there. It's primarily about listening. The more you listen to people, the better you are able to take care of them. And I think that's one change that I feel after having worked for ICF, the change that I feel in my business as such.
And that's really important in business, right? You need
Yes.
to listen to your stakeholders, your customers,
Yes.
what your workers are saying, and then you need to take actions accordingly.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you manage all these people, stakeholders, clients, labor? What's your take with regard to everyone?
So see, we have different departments running for us. We have different people that help us in this endeavor, and the whole idea is that when you want to run a successful business, I feel it's extremely important to take care of your stakeholders. When I mean stakeholders, I would mean my customers, I would mean my people who work for me, my vendors. And when you're taking care of this chain, then I think people themselves make your business grow. For us, it's a very decentralized kind of organization structure that we have. We let people take responsibility. We make sure that we give them enough area for making complaints and making mistakes also. And then you support them. And when that happens, they take the challenge of making you grow bigger and bigger.
So basically try to understand them in a much deeper level so that you can deliver the best for each and every one of
Yes.
them.
I think when communicated correctly, and when your philosophy of what you are doing is uh, is is communicated clearly in your chain, then things become much easier for you.
And as you stated that you are building EV buses of your own
Yes.
and close to 1,000 buses per month.
Yes.
That's remarkable, and we are moving towards greener energy, greenner nation. So how do you see, how will the charging infrastructure look like in the commercial spaces, EV bus space?
Right. So, see, I'm not an expert on electrical vehicles. What I do understand is that it has given a huge opportunity for fresh players to come into the automobile sector. See, what makes a country big is its companies. You look at US, there'll be so many of them that you can name under so many segments. For us also, for the longest now, there have not been players that were entering into the automobile space with those handful few that we had from India, and then some international ones that came in. What electrical vehicles has done is it has given opportunity to so many people. Look at Ather, look at Ola. It's given the opportunity for new entrepreneurs to come in. So from that perspective, it's broadened the level
But,
field.
are the people trusting these new brands?
Yes, yes. If you see, most of the electrical numbers, either be in commercial vehicles or if you look at the two-wheeler space, are mostly driven by the not the legacy OEMs, but the new OEMs. If I were to say in two-wheelers, look at Ather, look at Ola. If I were to say in commercial vehicles, look at somebody like an Olectra, look at somebody like a JBM. They are the ones who are driving the market. So obviously in the automobile passenger vehicle segment, we still have the legacy players who are doing well, but it's given a lot of opportunity for the new entrants to come in, which is great for me.
And I guess it was a year ago when Ola faced a backlash.
Yes. So you see, if you actually look at the journey of electrical vehicles in the US, about 98, 2000 was when investments started to come into the electrical space in the US. Out of that, if you actually see, after so many years, it's just Tesla, which is one company which has done extremely well. We don't even know of a lot of others.
Right.
I think for India also, that time has now come where a lot of investment is going into the EV space. A lot of people are trying to do some great products, coming up with some great technologies around EV, and I think it's a good time. And there will be some companies that will do well, some companies that will do bad. But what we need to focus is on the fact that all this new technology is bringing more and more employment. It's bringing more and more OEMs. It's bringing more and more entrepreneurship into our country, which is great for a country as such.
As EV is all about making the nation green,
Yeah.
but we very well know that while building those EV batteries and mining those minerals which are needed to make those EV batteries, a lot of carcinogens and pollution is produced. So,
Yes.
is there a way in which that could be eradicated or minimized?
See, I feel we're thinking in the right direction. Earlier, we were using a lot of combustion fuels. From there, we are now thinking to using some technology which is less, pollutant. And in that process, if some pollution is happening, then I feel, as we say these days, AI is going to be the next big thing. AI should be answering these questions. We should take the help of AI to answer such questions. And eventually we will land in a space where, obviously, when we think correctly, it takes time to get to that particular point. But I feel we will be in a much more greener space as years go by.
Right, and how, like, always US is ahead of India in all these things. So, what is the gap right now? What has already happened in US, and what can we expect in India in this space?
You're talking about the electrical vehicles.
Yes.
So I feel in terms of the technology now, there is not much headroom in terms of where they are or where we are. They started off early. They've gone through that cycle. Um, with EV adoption, if you look at the market leader, which is China, where almost about 50% of their passenger vehicles are now converted to EV, there's a lot of bandwidth that the government had to sort of push that agenda. They were given a lot of subsidies, a lot of charging infrastructure was set up. In India, I feel it's going to be a little different than what US and China have. Here, it's the entrepreneurs that are going to find solutions to our needs rather than just the government. So, if you look at the overall play in how the government and the people participate, we in India are in a very, very good space. So, in terms of the technology, no, there's not much bandwidth which is left in the technology transfer, if you would say that. But yes, we need to create our own ecosystem around EV, which is something which is important.
So there's a lot of hype around EV, and everyone is saying that it's the next big thing. There will be a lot of EV vehicles on the roads, and that's really true because even I was having a look at the video, and there are 10 new cars in the EV space that are lined up for the 2026 year. So, do you really think that just EV will grow at a very exponential rate in the coming years, or there's a particular way around it?
So I think EV will have growth, but it is not just EV that will have growth. We will our combustion engines are going to become better and better. We are also going to have a lot of hybrids. We already are seeing hybrid growth is better than the EV growth, if you actually see. We are going to have a lot of compressed gas engines as well. We are going to eventually have a hydrogen engine driven vehicle also. So I feel EV will be one of the technologies which will be amongst a lot of other technologies which will be there. But I don't think it's going to be the penultimate technology on the green mobility as such.
Talking a little bit more about the bus manufacturing, you told me prior to this podcast that your family has been in this space for quite some time now, and the industry evolves over the period of time. Every 10 to 15 years, there's something or the other happening. So, how has the industry evolved in the first place, and how have you aligned with it?
So, okay, let's go back to my grandfather's time. So, the construction of a bus used to be, it was picked up from a bullock cart. So, except for the base frame of the vehicle, everything else, the structure was made out of wood at that point in time. And this I'm talking about almost 1957. Okay. From that, when they started to have a proper plant where they were manufacturing, to the point where OEMs started to come to us and ask for our skill set to make products for them, to then again numbers going up with the OEMs, and then the OEMs withdrawing themselves and saying that now we have our own bus plant. So it was like a full cycle where they did not know how to make something, to having somebody who knew something, then working with them and then leaving them. And then how our business took a little bit of a downturn at that time because our business had completely become dependent on working for OEMs. We were of the opinion that this is a long-term arrangement. And
But that must be a massive hit for your
yes.
business.
Yeah, so at that point in time, we had a choice. We could either wind up what we were doing for 3 generations and say that let's get into something else, or we could back our skills and say, no, we are still good at it and we can make something out of it. So at that point in time, when one of the OEMs left us and then the other OEM was on the verge of leaving us, or we could see the writing on the wall, we started to go to the market. We started to assess the kind of products which we were making and how the OEMs were selling. And we saw that there was something that we could bring to the table which would be beneficial to the seller as such, the dealer. And so we went back to the drawing board. We designed a product for ourselves. And just before COVID, that particular product, we sold almost 50% amongst our total production of that product was the design product which we had manufactured. So for me, the lesson was that, you cannot completely rely on a particular set of business to survive or make you survive for the longest. You have to be on your toes. You have to look at opportunities to then maybe organically, inorganically grow out of what you are
Diversification
doing.
is also important.
Yes, so diversification came for us around COVID. But before that, we were sure that the model which we had picked up of not leaving our skill set of 3 generations and sort of stopping our way was a good decision for us. We did take a big hit when the OEMs left us and set up their own bus plants. But we should have understood that, we should have seen that coming, and we should have been a little more proactive. However, everything's panned out well, and now we are at a space where we do almost 45 vehicles. We have the capacity to do almost 45 vehicles a day in buses.
That's exceptional.
Yes, we do about 100 truckloads in a day, and we manufacture a lot of auto components also. So yes, diversification came around COVID because COVID, all schools shut, all the offices shut, so nobody was using school buses, nobody was using staff buses, and we were thinking what we were going to do. And this was the time when we thought we have some we can use our skill sets to kind of do something else. We already had started with Mahindra. We expanded into a couple of more dealerships, and I think we've been blessed that somebody up there is taking care of us at critical junctures. We've had the right kind of I would say admonishing from higher up places.
That's a really good thing. I believe whosoever works consistently, something or the other path opens for them.
Yeah, you got to be positive. You got to look at challenges not like challenges but like opportunities. It's something that is very easily said, but I've started to feel like that now after so many years of experience. That you got to back yourself basically.
And why Mahindra particularly?
So it was not really chosen as such. We first approached Maruti. We were given an LOI, but it was an area specific LOI. So they said, if you get this piece of land, then you get the dealership. If you don't get this piece of land, you don't get the dealership. So we lost out.
So there are a lot of check boxes, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, and so why Mahindra or why Kia? It's an opportunity. It's an OEM that you see. See, we wanted to have somebody which was Indian. For sure. We also had Tata for some time. And I feel Mahindra is doing extremely well. The way they have changed their product portfolio. And because I work with so many other
They've
OEMs,
modernized their cars a bit.
Yes. Not just in terms of the way they look, but also in the terms of the driving, the terms of how the vehicle feels, So they have upgraded themselves. They have upgraded their products. And it's a company that you have to watch out for, frankly speaking.
And I believe that I can see a lot of BE6 and
Yes.
XEV 9e on the roads now,
Yes.
and they have a new car which is coming up, which is I believe 9S.
Yes.
So is there a lot of difference in the sales that you have seen in the past 1 year?
So Mahindra was the first mover as far as electrical vehicles is concerned. If you go back into their history, you'll see they've invested into a lot of companies that were probably doing batteries or VCUs or smaller cars which were running on electrical vehicles. They bought those cars. So I feel it was only they were waiting for the right time to come up with products like that. And I see a very bright future for Mahindra, from where they are today.
Even those designs are exceptional. We
Yes.
hadn't seen anything like that on Indian roads.
That's true. It's very modern. It's very futuristic, and that's what I learned from them, that you have to keep breaking your own mold if you want to grow. And I think Mahindra has done just that.
Through these cars, have they focused more on the youth or the younger segment?
Well, they have definitely tried to change themselves, and the way their vehicles would look and feel. I don't know if exactly the strategy was to target youth, But I see the vehicles selling pan-India. We are selling a lot of vehicles in Ujjain, and we know as a dealer that we just don't sell it to the youth. People who are in the professional field, people who are retired, they also come and buy Mahindra. So it's a great company, actually. We should be very proud of this company.
Right, and they have used the tech really well.
Yes, yes.
Talking about tech, how important is tech with regard to cancer research, and what kind of measures are we taking at ICF to make sure that we are using the latest technology in terms of equipments?
See, so ICF believes that irrespective of your economic status, you should be given the best cancer care. Now, when I say that, we have invested, there have been donors who've invested in the institute for giving us a world-class operation theatre. We, as a philosophy, always feel that whatever will be the next best thing available to take care of the patient while he's going through the cancer treatment should also be taken care of. And that's why we have a very, very strong supportive palliative care system where every single patient goes through a physiotherapist, goes through a dietitian, goes through a speech therapist, goes through a psycho-oncologist. Most of the places that you go through which are corporatized these days, you will not find these people specifically for the cancer patients. Whereas we feel that if a person is coming to us, then we know the kind of pains that a person goes through when they have this disease. And we have made enough arrangements in terms of our technology also, and in terms of the soft infrastructure also, to take care of them while the cancer treatment is going on. Like this latest machinery which we are getting in, it's going to be probably the 7th, 8th machine of Indore, the linear accelerator. But it's going to be the only machine which will probably be available for the poorest of the poor. So today, if somebody poor has this disease and we know that he cannot afford it, he'd probably have to go to a place like Bombay or Delhi, a place where there's a big hospital like maybe a TMH, which will probably treat them. But now it's going to be right here in Indore. We can become a hospital.
That makes a huge difference.
Yes, we can become a hospital which can treat the kind of numbers that probably somebody like a TMH is doing sitting right here in Indore.
But still, like we are not getting a lot of footfall at ICF. There's a good footfall, but considering the equipments and the facility that we have, we can take care of a lot of individuals.
Yes. So the thing is that we don't go out and market ourselves. We're not left with anyone. We're a charitable non-profit organization. For us, the focus is that if we'll be left with some money, then we'll probably save that money to give free medicines to somebody rather than putting an ad in the newspaper or on radio saying that, look, here we are. This is the kind of great work that we are doing. And I feel that eventually your work will speak for itself. And this new machine that once it comes in, with the latest operation theatre that we have, this new machine will probably have a cascading effect. We will have more and more patients coming in. Because there are, even MY, there is a waiting, for radiation. And here we would probably be able to treat a lot more. Currently our cycle time is about 10 minutes to give radiation. There our cycle time will probably become less than 2 minutes. So imagine the number that will keep going up,
I believe that ICF has already done close to 230 cancer awareness campaigns.
Yes.
So can you throw some light on that? What kind of campaigns are those?
Yes. So amongst one of the key principles of ICF is not just cure of cancer, but we also believe that awareness is one of the major objectives that we have. Within that awareness, we organize a lot of camps throughout the year. Last year, we must have touched about 3,500 people through camps. And we try and target, a lot of government schools, because children is what you have to admonish or make aware so that they can go back to their families and talk to their parents to not use tobacco or reduce tobacco. We also touch upon a lot of Anganwadis to admonish them and to make them aware of how people should not be scared of cancer. The earlier the detection, the better the chances of survival. So, we hold all these camps only to spread awareness and to make people aware that, look, you should not be scared of this disease. Come to us. We are there to take care of you, irrespective of your economic status.
This is really important because I was going through something which stated that 1 in every 3 worker uses tobacco, and tobacco is one of the main reasons for cancer.
Yeah.
So if you are educating their children that it's not good for their parents' health, then that's a good way to go about it, because parents care the most about their children.
Exactly.
And when that's coming from them, it
Exactly.
makes a lot of difference.
Yes.
Even in that circle.
Yes. I will give you another number. Since you said 1 in 3, there's actually a report that says 1 in 9 people that are born in the year 2026 in their lifetime will have a cancer. And to kind of shock you a little bit more, last year this number was 1 in 15. So within a year, if you can see that drop happening, you can imagine the kind of disease that this is going to turn out to be.
So then cancer testing at a very initial age becomes really important. And I believe that we were talking about this in one of our discussions, that
Yes.
this already happens in the US.
So yeah, they are exploring a lot of technologies through which you can detect cancer early. In India, we do a lot of these marker testings through which we can find out about early stages set on of cancer. And from a technological perspective, we try and keep ourselves abreast, because we have a very active tumor board where there are doctors participating from Europe, from US, from around the globe.
And I believe there's a conference also happening at the end of the year.
So at the end of the year, we have a conference on supportive care where a lot of these doctors come and participate, and this is going to be the 4th year of this conference this year. And in that conference, we discuss the latest technologies, the care around cancer, and how different studies have happened in the year that can probably benefit us. We do a lot of studies ourselves, and we take inputs from a lot of other doctors that come in. So it's a holistic conference where a lot of, as they say, ज्ञान का आदान प्रदान होता है.
And a lot of families who have individuals who are suffering from cancer, they also suffer a lot mentally.
Yes.
So, is there some kind of counseling for them as well at ICF?
Yes. So when I say there is every single patient visits our Psycho-oncology, it's not just the patient that sits with the doctor. We get a lot of families that come to take care of that one person who's suffering from cancer.
Right.
There are people who sometimes that have sold their livestock and brought the money to us, saying that this is what I have in my hands, please treat me. And then we have to tell them that it's not needed. We will treat you irrespective. If that person has the money, great. If they don't have it, then there's Ayushman. If they don't have that, then there is CMRF. If they don't have that, then we will go out, we will borrow, and we will beg, but we will not say no to nobody. That's the philosophy. So yeah, so when these families come in, they go and sit with the psycho-oncologist. The psycho-oncologist not just takes care of the patient, but also tells the families. And they come with a lot of set mindsets. They have different utensils for the person who's suffering from cancer, as if it's a communicable disease. It's not. So right from teaching
So there
them
are a
about
lot
that,
of myths around.
yes, and so we have to break these myths, and we are so happy and thankful to a lot of our donors who pays for such doctors. All these doctors of supportive care are paid by one of the corporates. Throughout the year's salary is supported by these corporates. So we're thankful to those donors who I feel have identified us for doing this good work.
So, while talking to these donors in the initial stages, I'm pretty sure that it's a checkbox for them as well. If they are running a corporate, then they need to do a CSR activity. And do you think that they come with a purview that, yes, we are just doing a CSR activity, or they are actually very devoted about the cause?
So I think CSR is not done in a very conscious way, at least in our city. I've not really gone out right now in other cities to see what kind of work they're doing. You obviously hear of a lot of people, or groups who are doing a lot of, who would tell you that they're doing a lot of good work. I have come across a lot of people in Indore who are doing good work. Roundtable, for example, they've been our donors for the last 2 years now. And I can vouch for it that, they go out and make schools, completely redo the government schools. And then there are children who want to come to the school only because it's been done so nicely. So from a CSR perspective, I don't feel we are doing enough. There is a lot of fund available, but in Indore, in my experience, they give money to the person who's sitting across asking for it. They don't give it for the cause. And I feel that, you should just, if you wanna really contribute, then you should look at the right cause and you should hold that cause till the end. Today I'm doing it here, tomorrow I'm doing it there, day after tomorrow I'll find another organization to do it, does not really help that cause. And we have at our institute, we have enough reasons every month that come in giving you a cause to donate. There is a lot of charity that is needed for such poor people because, see, with what you earn, you can make a living, but what you give, you make a life. And so, if you can give in a place like Indore Cancer Foundation, your money will go to the last needy person. We proud ourselves for the fact that we say no to no one.
I think that's the philosophy of the founders, Mr. and Mr.
Yeah, so see, Dr. Dharkar and Mrs. Dharkar are very, very special human beings. They've given their life to the cause, as I was saying. And it is, I can see the journey in the last 37, 38 years where they've been able to. They don't feel that they've done enough, but if you actually see, to get a 11-acre land from the government on a lease, it's a humongous task if you today go out there
There
as
should
just
be
a doctor,
a
as
there
just
should
a
be a really
surgeon.
strong will.
Exactly. And then to be able to find donors who built the main campus, somebody who's given you a dharmshala so that all the patients that come in, their caretakers can also stay back. They don't have to go back on the road just because there's no place to stay here. They've been able to manage a ward where, patients suffering from the medicine side effects are taken care of. They've been able to manage a world-class operation theater. They've been able to keep this organization up and running without any money or making any profit um, for 38 years. He could have chosen to be a surgeon who could have settled in the best of the places anywhere in the world with this kind of skills that he has. But he chose to work for a cause. And I feel for CSR, that's a cause that every individual as a company should select. And they should say that we want to take this cause till the end.
Just this one thing.
Just this one thing. Even if in our philosophy, God has said there are 2, 3 ways of attaining nirvana. He says that find one out of those two or three. So here also, you should treat it as if you're actually involved in the progress and growth of that particular cause or organization. And then you would see so much of change happening. I can already see a lot of change happening at ICF.
With regard to, if anyone is watching this particular podcast and they want to contribute in any particular manner, whether it be time, capital, or resources, then how can they do that? Talking about the students, their parents, corporates, everyone, how can they contribute?
So I feel if you want to contribute to ICF, then come and pay us a visit. See, seeing is believing. Even when I decided to work for ICF, I said I'll first come and see if my time and skills and my effort is not going to go to waste. So when you come there, you'll see that it's a place which has a lot of positivity. In spite of being a cancer institute, it's got a lot of positivity, and I feel that positivity is brought in by the philosophy that we run that place by. So you would come and you will see a place which is full of life. You will come and see a place where there'll be somebody to help you out. You will come and see a place where, where all the funds that are coming in are being utilized to the last penny. So it's a very transparent organization. Once you come there, we don't want donors just to come and give us money. We are a very small organization with a very small team. We want people who can come and work on an honorary basis. We want people who can come and contribute as, just social workers, and that through that they can build a chain. If they give me donation today or give ICF donation today, they would have done a great contribution to a great cause. But then if they come and spend their time and effort there, then they would build a chain. They would go and talk about, like today, as I starting of the our talk, I said I first talk about ICF every time I go and meet somebody new. It's because I'm very, very passionate about it. It's because I know that my effort is going to something which is greater, much, much greater than anything I'll probably do in my life. Yeah, so come to ICF and see the kind of work that we are doing, and you'll feel that it's a place, a place like this should be there in every single district of India.
I believe that this kind of awareness should start from a really early age, and
Yes.
kudos to Emerald Heights International School. They
Yes.
had taken an initiative to make sure that their children are understanding this
Yes.
at an initial age, and I believe that they have volunteered for some of the work at ICF, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Emerald Heights has a very strong social working group. They are sensitizing their children at a very, very early age, and I feel it's something really important for all institutions. I mean, they should take a cue from Emerald Heights. They have students who work throughout the year for various causes. I've heard they do a lot of eye donation camps. They do a lot of blood donation camps. They do a lot of awareness activities for poor people, and they've been helping ICF every now and then. There are children who voluntarily come on their birthdays, and even if it's not their birthday, they would go and talk about the fact that they've been to ICF with a group, and then they would bring their parents and just give us a small contribution. And they feel it's small, but trust me, for us, every penny that comes in is utilized for the best of the cause. It will probably give medicine to somebody. It will probably sponsor the food of somebody. It will probably sponsor the transport. So there are everything. We have like a lot of areas where they can contribute.
Even the salaries of doctors, right?
Yes, yes. So as I said, there are a lot of corporates who give us money to give to the doctors, because you're ultimately competing with corporates here. All the healthcare in our country, unfortunately, has become corporatized, and all the doctors are under a lot of stress for first getting into becoming one, and then later on to make sure that they give enough ROIs by writing all those reports on every single patient. So, as Munna Bhai MBBS, when somebody comes to the hospital, you will not ask them to fill the
Fill a
form
form,
first.
yeah.
But you'll take care of the patient first. So I believe we are somebody in that space.
And that's really important in the healthcare space, right?
Yes.
You need to empathize with your patient.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've lost the empathy, or let's just say we've lost the care out of the healthcare. It's just health, and then it's how much money you have. But I feel we can be the beacon in changing this trend. You don't really have to be well. If your objective is to make profit, then it's a different thing. But within that you should not lose the philosophy of healthcare. There's an oath that a doctor takes. With that oath, they should add a few more things these days. The way the work is happening.
Can you share some interesting stories that has taken place at ICF? Someone who was in enormous
So-
need of getting the treatment
there
done.
is this one patient who had come to us from a village, and in that village he used to live with his two brothers and his parents. His wife had died about 8 months ago, and he had a 4-year-old daughter. Now she was detected with eye cancer, and when he discussed that he would like to invest some money to get her treatment done, the family said, she's just a girl, let her die. But hats off to that father. He fought his family with his family, and he brought the daughter to us, and we were able to give her care, and she's fine now. So there some stories like this always resonate with me, and that's when I feel that the I'm working for a good cause.
That's the kind of legacy that you want to leave behind.
Not really. I don't believe in legacies as such. I believe we sometimes look too far ahead in the future, and we look back in the past, and then we say, who am I today? I think what's important is just this moment that you have, and making the most of this moment that you're present in. And then legacies, non-legacies, banti hai nahi banti, it does not really matter much.
It was great having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Hardik.
And the insights that you shared about the automobile industry and about the cancer fraternity, I believe that will inspire and motivate our viewers. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Before ending this podcast, I would also like to talk about one of our in-house brands, which is Studio Uno, in which we take care of interior and civil turnkey projects, residential as well as commercial. I have along with me architect Anupam Goyal and Mr. Durgesh Tiwari as partners in that particular company. So if you're looking for getting a turnkey project done, then do reach out to us. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Hardik, for having me.
Yes, Rohan, it was a pleasure. That's about it from this podcast. This is your host, Hardik Agrawal, signing off.